I'm going to talk about the enterprise network function virtualization. But before I actually start and talk about the network function virtualization, I would like to make an analogy to something that you are very, very familiar with, and hopefully we can take that analogy and put it into the network, okay? Now, 10 or 15 years ago, we used to have mobile phones that were large, and the only thing that they can do is actually make a phone call, correct? Have you all used one of them? Or maybe not all. I can see some really young guys over here, but you have used a phone like that, right? And then slowly, the phone evolved, and it had some functions in it. And those functions were a camera, or music, and it became color screened. So those functions were embedded, and that's the only things that you can do with that phone. And today we are actually in an environment, okay, that the phone is a smartphone, and there is an app store. And from the app store, you as a user can choose any application you would like to use, correct? You can delete that application and choose anything that as a user you need in your phone. And those applications are actually sharing the same hardware, so the phone hardware. But they're also very much containerized or independent from each other. So you don't need one application in order to use another application. And this concept we try to take from the phone and extract it and take it to the network, so we can make it as easy as that for you to use a network function, but as well as business applications. So why did Cisco decided to go into that space, right? I guess you can say that the campus networks is the final frontier of virtualization and simplification with orchestration. But why do we actually go into that space? We have very good physical products and 30 years of network innovation. But we see a shift in our customer needs. And the shift is that until now, most of the customers had a headquarter where a lot of, there was an aggregation of people there and customers, and a lot of these different services that they needed in their company was easy to implement because there was a budget for it. Okay, there were engineers and IT in the building, and a lot of these physical devices and a lot of these applications were managed in an easy way. Now we are going in an era of distributed environment where we have a lot more branches and a lot more employees working from the branches, but a lot of customers visiting the branches. So more business for our customers, but they need to be able to deliver this type of services that they also delivered in the headquarters. And that is difficult because it's expensive. And we're talking about a lot of devices and a lot of skills to maintain and a lot of money for support. So we need to give them agility. We need to give them agility because they're only going to have increased number of employees, customers, applications, and devices to manage, and that will result in a branch that I guess will have more demand in bandwidth hungry to deliver all these things. And how can we help with that is through ENFV. Because ENFV is not only SD1, it's going to virtualize, I guess, the application, the network functions initially, but later on our aim is to virtualize the business application as well that will sit in the same infrastructure and will be delivering orchestration for the business application as well as the network functions. So we'll be delivering a lot more of that. So this is an opportunity for you to go to your customers and ask them, what is your pain point or what do you want to deliver in your branch today that you are not able to deliver? And how can Cisco and how can we help you and Cisco as a vendor help you in that? What would you be able to do, okay, if you had an infrastructure that was agile enough as a data center infrastructure and you had a common orchestration tool to deliver your applications and your network functions? And then I think your customers will be able to tell you and you'll be able to drive the conversation with ENFV. This is now where I want to actually take it to the actual architecture and what is really here day one with ENFV. So what kind of network functions do you know that are virtualized today? Any? Sorry? Branch router, exactly. So one thing that is virtualized is the, well, we call it ASR. That's the range of the branch router that we have, or router. And this is very well virtualized. Yeah, thank you for that. That's one function that is already virtualized. But we also have virtual wide application area service, which is basically optimization the applications over the WAN. And this is also virtualized today in a router. The same with, if somebody wanted to deploy a wireless LAN controller and be a virtual LAN controller, we also have that version of virtual LAN controller. And there are any kind of third-party network virtualization functions, which is basically our competitors. Our competitors also have virtualized network functions, right? So we're taking like, and there is another thing that very much is virtualized these days. It's the virtual firewall. We call that ASA. That's the product range that we have, ASA. And this is also virtualized. So day one, what you're going to be seeing is that we are taking those virtual network functions and running them in an orchestrated, automated way. So basically, they will be able to be run in the physical layer, which is the ISR, which is our branch router. It could be run onto an ISR that has a UCSE, which is a server on the router, right? So that's standard, that already exists within our range, product range. Run it onto a UCS-C, which is the rack server, or run it onto an x86 out-of-the-shelf server. The last thing you can run it on is something is going to come. It's called ENCS, which is basically a product you're going to see coming out from Cisco, basically a server with ports and WAN interfaces. And this is the first kind of compute server that we're using as a router. It's not out yet, but it's going to be out. So you have the network functions on top. And you have here the physical infrastructure, correct? What are we delivering in between to make this happen is that we have a new layer of a virtual layer that is Linux-based, and is called Network Function Virtualization Infrastructure Service Layer. Okay, this is how it's called. It's called NFVIS. This is a Linux operating system that is going to be the new operating system of the new enhanced iOS XE that you already see in your routers today. Okay, this operating system will allow any kind of virtual network functions to be orchestrated to any infrastructure that our customers would like to choose. So this is simplicity. We are allowing our customers to mix and match or go total virtual with Cisco or any kind of server that they actually want to use. And on top of that, obviously, we have to deliver some kind of orchestration layer. Otherwise, how can they deploy this in an easy, automated way? And the orchestration layer you're going to see in the form of an application. It's called Enterprise Services Automation, or ESA. And ESA will be an application or an SDN controller. And through that, you're going to orchestrate whatever kind of functions you want through the new operating system to the underlying infrastructure. And it's going to be very easy. Just drag and drop and connect the network functions. That's what you're going to be seeing in the future.